leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me the most relentless.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, the man himself, Devin. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the latest thriller, Candyman. I guess you could call it more of a slasher as well. But before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener of the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. Again, that is Optix with an X. Man, oh man. Devin. We'll get into it for sure. But how are you today? How are you this fine evening?
I'm doing good. It's a Thursday. We haven't done a Thursday recording in a while.
I know. It's been crazy.
Right. Fresh off the presses.
Seriously. I think the last time we did a Thursday recording was Black Widow, maybe, I think. But, life gets in the way and it's just kind of, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we have other prior obligations and we would love to give everything out, Thursday and drop it the next day. But hey, this is definitely going to be out on this following Monday, just to give people out there a little bit of time to, watch the movie and, give them our thoughts and mingle with the rest of the critics, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm really, really glad it's Thursday. It doesn't feel like a Thursday. This week's been going by a little fast. It's like too fast, but I'm not complaining. Tomorrow's Friday, and That's all that matters, honestly. I'm very, very excited. So get a nice little hooray in there for everyone. But as I mentioned before, we are going to be discussing the latest thriller, Candyman. I'm going to pass it off to Devin so he can tell you a little bit more about the film, the director, writer, and etc. So Devin, take it away.
So apparently this film is being called a spiritual sequel to the original Candyman from 1992. I think it's definitely more related to the original one than I thought it was going to be, but we'll talk about that. Returns to the now gentrified Chicago neighborhood where the legend began. Directed by Nia DaCosta. Written by Nia DaCosta, Jordan Peele, and Win Rosenfeld. Starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Teyonah Parris, and Nathan Stewart-Jarrett.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Also, our Euphoria guy, Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
That's such a cool name.
Yes.
And he has such a cool voice.
He really does. Honestly, you can cast him in anything and I'll watch it. I mean, he was fantastic in my ratings, Black Bottom. If you haven't seen Euphoria, HBO's Euphoria, he is just very, very good. Did you watch the 2 specials yet of Euphoria?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Very big episodes with him in it.
Yeah. So I watched the first, I still haven't watched the second one and I need to, and I kept planning on doing it. I'm all over the place. I still need to watch the new episode of iCarly. I still need to watch last week's episode of Ted Lasso. I got some things to catch up on, Devin. So but I think it's going to be well worth it. Got some nice little, family room or living room upgrades coming my way. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Definitely. I'm trying to hold out until everything gets here so I can be like, well, I want to experience it all together kind of thing. So, but yeah, so let's get into our initial thoughts. And then of course we will dive into spoilers for those who have seen the movie, but we got to cater to those who haven't seen the movie yet, who are a little bit curious about this new slasher, Candyman, the 2021, AKA the spiritual successor. I guess I'm just going to go on first. This movie runs around an hour and 30 minutes. So it's
it's a short one. Very,
very short. There were parts that I liked, but overall I wasn't super crazy about it. I love the performances. I thought they did a really, really good job, but I did feel like the script was a little wonky, and the pacing seemed to be all over the place because it was really hard to tell like how they're going to wrap everything up. But it does have a very ambiguous ending. But I've never seen the first Candyman, so maybe there's something there that I'm missing. But have you seen the first one, Devin?
I have.
You have? Okay.
The first one, but not the other two.
There's others. Oh.
Yeah, there's an original trilogy. But this one takes place directly after the first one, so they kind of just retconned the other two.
Okay, so yeah.
Same thing Halloween did.
Okay. I see what you mean. So yeah. So definitely another slasher in the books for this year. It's a pretty big year for horror films altogether. We have Fear Street, Night House, Halloween Kills, Last Night in Soho's coming out. We have that Malignant movie that's coming as well. The Antlers film, I think that's coming out. No, I think that's 2022.
Yeah.
And Candyman. So it's a pretty interesting year for horror films. More so slasher than anything else. And this was definitely more of a gave us more of a slasher vibe. I thought that like the CGI was pretty cool, and like, the storytelling of everything was pretty interesting, but I kind of got lost in the story a little bit. Like I understood like the whole like gentrification thing and whatnot, but it was still like, there were things that I kind of guessed like a mile away. And like, even from the trailer itself, you can kind of put the pieces together a little bit. Not all the way, but I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't hate it. Like I said, I just have a little bit more of a mixed bag on my side. I thought, Teyonah Parris, her being the new Captain Marvel, or I think they're going to be going with a different name from her. People may recognize her from WandaVision. She did
if I didn't have a crush on her already from that, I definitely do now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yahya Abdul, like, he always brings it 100%. And, like the human story part, like some of them were kind of like little loose threads here and there. But I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the best. I think like I preferred the Night House over that, because that like scared the crap out of me. Like this one, like it wasn't predictable, but like some things were, but more of the killings and stuff like that, you didn't really see too much. Like you did, but you didn't. It was so. Well, what about you? Let's pass the torch over to Devin.
Yeah, I think for me it was good, not great. Like you said, I think the third act, it definitely struggled a little bit getting to the finish line. Just a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. And some interesting decisions made. And then also I agree about the off-screen killings not being ideal. Like there were quite a few killings that you just didn't really see anything of, specifically the bathroom scene.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of blood, but really nothing else. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of disappointing, but overall, I did enjoy it. It had a nice creepy vibe. I do like how they kind of tied the story to the original one, which I actually didn't see coming because it didn't recognize the actors that was actually in the original one too.
The only reason why I recognized them is because I was looking up like a picture for the thumbnail for the episode. And I've seen like people rewatching the 1992 version. So I was like, oh, okay. So I knew this was somewhat of a sequel, but I still haven't seen it. Maybe it will make
I wasn't talking about him. There's an actress that's from the original one too.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we'll get into that once we get into spoilers, because I'm pretty interested to hear that. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It wasn't necessarily scary. Like there weren't any big scares or anything. It did have a good, nice, scary vibe. Like it was more creepy so than scary, and it was pretty gory. Yeah. There's some pretty nasty parts.
That is very, very true. But even with with everything that was going on, like I said, some of the characters were interesting. Like the lives that they led were like, it seemed to be this big like art world type deal, and I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And
there were also there was a few pretty good jokes in there too.
Oh yeah,
the brother.
Yeah. The brother, he was. I mean, besides Yahya Abdul and Teyonah Parris, I mean, I really did enjoy his little, performances that he threw out there. But all in all, he was kind of more just sort of a side character, more of just like a support character for his sister, played by Teyonah Parris. And then, of course, his boyfriend, who was definitely just kind of just there. Like, he kind of just went along with everything and whatnot. I was like, okay, it was all right. But yeah, it just seems very muddled for this movie. And, you know, I mean, coming out the directorial, like, I've seen, like, you know, obviously, like, Jordan Peele's name is attached to this as a producer and as a writer. But this is Nia DaCosta's directorial, you know, her work as well. So I see a lot of, like, pieces where they're like, oh, Jordan Peele's Candyman. I'm like, well, yes and no. Like, he didn't direct it. And usually when they reference someone in that way, they're usually referencing the director, even though he's not the director. But, like, I kind of like the story. You know, hear bits and pieces with the whole gentrification thing. It's like, I'm not sure if that was, like, I guess the theme of the 1992 one. Was it, or was it something different?
I mean, gentrification wasn't really a known thing back then, I don't think.
Yeah. Or was not as aware to the general public, but yeah. Like I liked it. Like, I thought it was okay, but I definitely preferred Night House over, and of course my Fear Street trilogy, 100%. Gotta represent. But yeah, I definitely liked Night House way more over Candyman. But it was fine, and I feel like I sound like a broken record when it comes to that. So was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we get into spoilers, so I don't ramble on here forever?
Well, we are both looking into a mirror, technically.
That's okay.
I just love how every character was just like, nope.
Yeah. I did like a few bits and pieces. Of course, we'll get into it once we get to spoilers, but it was very minority centric when it came to, like, the scary bits, if you know what I mean, like, especially the bathroom scene and one of Teyonah Parris' scenes. But yeah, let's get into spoilers here. Man, oh man, I actually forgot to add the segue in, but you know what? That's okay. It's late at night and I don't feel like adding it in at all. So we're just going to keep this rolling. So that is your first spoiler warning of the evening. Again, that is your second spoiler warning for Candyman. So if you haven't seen it, turn off this podcast and turn back around, go to the theater. Unfortunately, it is only in theaters exclusively, which can be viewed as a good or bad thing, but it was nice to see it on the big screen. My audience was pretty was heavily invested. I think they enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But yeah, let's just dive straight into spoilers. So it seems that the scene that I was talking about really quick before we kind of dive a little bit more in, when, you know, there's like the 5 girls in the bathroom, and then like the Asian girl, she says it after like the first is the second one. She was like, nope. And she just dips out of there. I thought that was funny. And then Teyonah Parris, like when she was looking for her boyfriend in the laundromat and she looks down that stairs, she was said, nope, and just closed that door.
Yeah, I really liked that part, and that probably got the biggest laugh in the theater.
Yeah. And a little bit of a foreshadow report for Jordan Peele's next project. Well, she just said nope. So,
but then it kind of like goes back on itself like 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
she makes a dumb decision.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, you didn't want to go down the stairs in that basement,
but you go in the creepy house.
Yeah, I was like, that's.
I don't even know what she was trying to like hit him with a floorboard or something.
I guess it was too heavy. Yeah,
and then just use the pen.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure whatsoever, but yeah, it was very strange. Like the whole, like I knew that Yahya Abdul was going to become Candyman, like from the trailer, just watching it. I'm like,
I mean, yeah, they pretty much said it in the trailer.
Yeah, and like I guess that's not much of a shock, but it's like, why? Not much of the like who, but it is more of the why. And I'm still a little confused as to why he becomes Candyman.
So that's where the first movie comes into play, because the actress that played his mom was in the original one. And the story that they told was actually from the first movie. Like the story they were telling throughout with the puppets and everything. Where the baby got taken.
Okay.
That baby was him.
Oh, okay. So Yahya's mother in this film was also in the first one. Or in the 1992.
The baby she had was him as a baby.
Right. Okay. So that did play out in the first one.
And the baby was like kidnapped for like a ritual sacrifice. But then he got away.
Okay, so yeah, this is more of a spiritual successor. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it was. Man, I mean, I wish I had a little bit more to say about this, but I'll toss it over to Devin and see if he has any interesting points.
I do have some interesting trivia.
Ooh, lay it on me.
In the original Candyman, I don't know if you've ever seen. There's a few scenes where the bees are actually in his mouth.
I did not realize that,
and they're like real bees. Ooh. Apparently, he got paid like $1,000 extra per bee that they put in his mouth. Would that be enough for you to get some live bees in your mouth? $1,000 per bee?
No. It's got to be like $5,000 per bee.
He said he got stung 26 times.
Yahya?
No, I'm talking about the original Candyman.
Oh, the original Candyman. Really? My gosh. Was it worth it?
All the bees in this one were CGI, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I was going to say, but no, I can't do that. 26 times in the mouth? Like, I'm surprised he's not.
I'm guessing in the mouth and
elsewhere.
And other places.
I'm surprised. I mean, I'd be surprised if he's not allergic by now.
Apparently, they were specifically bred bees to where they were like 12 days old. So they're old enough to look like adult bees, but they didn't have fully formed stingers yet.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible.
But they still can sting.
Yeah, but you're still,
not as bad.
Yeah, just not as bad. So you don't get the full effect. But I mean, that's interesting. Did not know that whatsoever. But so what did you think of, I guess, just like the side characters, especially I guess the first victims that were taken?
I thought the art gallery scene was really good. I think it was really funny. And I just like how they just got destroyed. And I like how he like cuts through the projection screen and then just like slices his Achilles.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Gnarly.
Yeah. I really wish that we got to see more like gory like killings on screen, because it did seem like way more cutaway scenes, especially with the critic, in a way, because obviously, like, you know, Yahya's character, you know, he said he feels connected to the story and whatnot, and now we know why. And it was just very interesting. So for the sacrifice, was it just Candyman wanted to make the sacrifice for what?
I don't remember the first one in that much detail, but he wanted to make a sacrifice just for some reason. Evil reason. Because I saw a lot of people rewatching the 1992, and I was like, oh, like I knew there was a 1992, but I didn't know there was others prior. But the CGI looked pretty cool. I really like how they kind of started off the story, and you know, with the little boy at first, I thought that was Yahya, and then it's like, nope, that was Colin Domingo's character. And I mean, I really liked as a character. I really liked Teyonah Parris's character.
Yeah,
like,
I think she was.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. Just the idea of her, like her dad was a tortured artist who killed himself, like while she was in the room. That was so creepy when he said, "I bet you didn't know I could fly."
Yeah,
like that's just creepy. But then for that to happen to her, and then 20 years later, she starts dating like the same type of artist that's struggling and a tortured artist, like
literally tortured and going crazy.
That's an interesting backstory.
Yeah, especially after he got stung by the bee. Like at first I didn't really expect like his bee sting to like go that far, but like
every time they showed his hand, the crowd was just like, "Ooh."
Yeah, it did look really bad. I was like, okay, bro, like a bee sting is not supposed to do that to your hand. Like you might have a swelled hand for a bit, but like it just kept growing and growing, and it kind of looked more of like hive like towards the end. So it was very, very interesting how they did that. So, but yeah, it was nice. It just seems that with Yahya's character, he kind of just accepted it, but at the same time, it's once he finds out the truth that like he was the baby, it all kind of just I don't know. It, like the third act just happened so fast, and I was like, okay, first he goes to his mom, and then he kind of just accepts it and just starts to lose his mind there a little bit, and then I can't remember, like, oh yeah, from the laundry scene when Teyonah Parris goes to the laundromat because she remembers him talking about a guy, and it's like, I guess he was working for Candyman in a way.
Yeah, they never really explained why he was doing this.
I guess he felt guilty because when he first met Sherman, one of the Candyman, did you think he dropped like that candy on purpose towards the beginning? Because it kind of seemed like he did. It wasn't like
I don't know,
because he, like Sherman gives him the candy. He doesn't like kill him. He's just hiding in the walls. I mean, obviously, like he was alive then, and then like he's going down there to do like his laundry and stuff, and he kind of gets freaked out. Like we hear the scream, and then he takes the candy, walks back up, and then he kind of hears him coming down. And then he kind of just stops, and then he kind of just like casually drops like a piece of candy for them to like, I guess, hear where he's coming from. I don't know how they heard that, but, and then
I guess, I mean, because Sherman shows up at the end, that other flashback in the bathroom with his sister. So I guess they're implying that Sherman like coerced him into doing this 20 years later. Or 30 years later.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, like the mirror scenes were well done. Like anytime Candyman like
the elevator scene was really cool.
Yeah, that was and then at the very end, he's just like sitting there. It's
awkward.
There's like 5 teenagers.
I love there was a couple scenes where there's just awkward stares. I really like those.
Yeah.
One with Teyonah Parris and her brother too, where they're just staring at him.
Yeah. It's just like well, it's very, very, it's very interesting. But overall, I guess out of all the horror movies we have seen this year, how does it stack up to like everything that you've seen so far throughout the year?
I'd say it's pretty even. So, I mean, Don't Breathe 2 is at the bottom.
Can we even call that a horror film? That was just disappointment. But yeah, that's definitely at the bottom. Oh man. Yeah, for me, I feel like it is definitely more at the middle of the road type deal. It's just I don't know, man. It like I said, like there's parts that I like about it, other parts that didn't. Like I was like really looking for more sort of the lore, and they kind of went into that, but maybe again, like I feel like people.
That's why I mentioned in the beginning. I was kind of surprised at how much they relied on the knowledge of the first movie.
Right. Yeah.
I was expecting it to be more of a reboot than direct sequel, which it pretty much is.
Yeah, and I didn't at first. I didn't know it was a direct sequel until I read the synopsis while making the template for today. But I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, man, like now I kind of wish I would have watched the first Candyman or the 1992 Candyman.
I've seen the original one, but I didn't even recognize that actress was the same one from the original. Even in the trailers, I just didn't even recognize it.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it at all either. And then the guy who played Candyman in 1992, the only reason why I recognized him was, like I said, I was just very, I was nosy, and I was like looking up like pictures for the thumbnail. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, okay, like I remember him. And I think I saw like one small little scene with him. He was like, I'm the victim or something like that, or be my victim or something along those lines. But yeah, I really wish that it would have been more pushed out, like just through the studio or this marketing that, hey, like you should definitely go watch the 1992 Candyman because this is a direct sequel. I don't think they did a very good job of marketing that this was a direct sequel to the 1992 version.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Yeah, very, very surprising. Well, man, oh man, if there's anything else you want to talk about, if not, we can just kind of get into our spoilers there. This is more of what's up?
I was just saying, I have one more fun fact for the original one.
Oh,
there's a lot of trivia for that one I was looking at.
Fire away.
So apparently the role of Candyman was originally, they were originally considering Eddie Murphy. but then they deemed that he was too short because he's 5'9". So they went with Tony Todd, who is 6'5".
Oh man, that is
Eddie Murphy is Candyman. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool, but I feel like I can take him seriously because it's just
it was before. Actually, I don't know when his first
debut
few movies came out, but.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say Will Smith.
Close to his debut.
Okay. I thought you were actually going to say Will Smith, to be honest. He's always passing up like the good roles nowadays. But back then it might have been a little bit different. But yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah,
that would have been like after after coming to America. That would have been a weird choice for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, because like back then it's like, it was like, it just seemed that specific actors and actresses only did like specific movies. They didn't really have this I guess like chameleon effect of, jumping from genre to genre. Like the first time I saw Florence Pugh was in Fighting with My Family, and then people saw her in like Midsummer, and then she's also in this like period piece, I think from 2016 called like Lady Macbeth. And then, you have people like Robert Downey Jr., like his last role before he took on Iron Man was Shaggy Dog. And it's like, it's just like the craziest thing in the world. With Chris Evans, I can't remember what his last role was prior to Captain America, but he already played Johnny Storm prior. So it's like, oh yeah, he's been marveling it up for a while. But yeah, man, this movie was very, very interesting. I guess we'll just like head right into scores here. Kind of round out and get the heck out of here. More so of a informal review. Not as structured as I'd hope, but we wanted to kind of get this out for the people out there who want to see this movie. Definitely go see it because I think there's a lot of great scenes, great moments, and just
good theater experience.
Yeah, really, really good theater experience. Like we said, more so like on the like the skin creepy vibe. Nothing that'll like jump out at you all that much.
Yeah, not many jump scares.
No, I guess like when it came to like the whole gentrification thing, I feel like that's where it got like a little muddled, and I was like, okay, so like what does all this have to do with Candyman and whatnot? And towards the very end, when Teyonah, I actually wanted to ask you that before we get out of here. What did you think about the rescuing of Teyonah Parris? Because that was just very odd to me. Because I swear she only said it 4 times and not 5. And I was like, okay, I thought it needed to be 5 times, like direct. But what did you think of the whole, I guess, rescue cop fiasco? I don't know. I
just thought it was her only choice, really. I mean, either you throw your boyfriend under the bus or you go to jail. So I just summon this demon creature to save you.
It's like, yeah, I guess you kind of call him like a demon creature, but it was more so of, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess she was given 3 choices where it's like, the cop is saying, oh, your boyfriend just went crazy and, you're fine. But I feel like she would have been like marked for life.
Yeah, he definitely would have hunted her down if she pulled that.
Yeah. And then the other one was, the other choice that the cop gave her was more so, it being her fault. And she's like, well, I do have a third choice. And then in the trailer, he says kill everyone, but at the end of this, he says tell everyone. And it's like,
I didn't notice that.
I'm pretty sure he said tell everyone. And I'm pretty sure in the trailer he said kill everyone. And it's like, oh, like I was kind of waiting for that. I was like, oh, I'm like, when's that part coming up? There were parts where I was like, oh yeah, I saw that in the trailer, but yeah, a very, very short film. Definitely go see it. If you're looking for just something to watch this weekend. This one's been pushed back for a bit. So, but yeah, let's just get into our scores here. Devin, what would you give Candyman 2021?
I'm going to 73.
73?
So
okay.
Good, not great. Right in that range.
Okay. I was actually going to go with this like a solid 70. I think that's more so of like 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, more so in that range. Maybe even like 2.5. Like I thought it was fine, but like I didn't hate it. It's just, I don't know. I've definitely seen better horror movies this year that have just done a better job. Like I really wish we would have got more like gory on-screen kills. I think that would have saved it for me. But yeah, I'm in the same camp as you. Good, not great, but definitely worth a watch at least once because it's not long, literally an hour and 30 minutes. So yeah, that pretty much concludes our review here of Candyman. Of course, Devin, always thank you for coming on and talking shop again. This is more of an informal one this time around, guys. You know, we're out here on a Thursday night. We got work tomorrow and just a smidge tired. But let's go over what's coming up on the podcast next week. After this is dropped, we have our Shang-Chi review. And then we have our secret project that we'll probably talk about during the Shang-Chi review. After that, Devin, I don't think there's too much going on in the month of September. If I'm not mistaken, we can always go back and review Reminiscence.
We have Malignant and then nothing the rest of the month. Or
we could review Coda. If I really want to watch that again.
I mean, you could.
Dev, I think I would love to know your take on it because I truly believe that is one of the best films of the year. Like I really, really enjoyed it. It has so many layers to it, and it gives me an excuse to watch it again. So we should definitely do that unless you want to do Malignant. It really just
Dear Evan Hansen's also September.
Is it really? Are you serious?
24th.
The 20th. Oh, Devin. We might have to do I've been waiting for that. That's one of my most anticipated of the year. Because so everyone out there listening, so on the week of September 5th, aka Labor Day weekend. So our Shang-Chi review will be releasing on Labor Day, but we won't be releasing our Marvel's What If episode. I believe that would be episode 5 will be on Wednesday the 8th because I will be out of town in Vegas. So we might have to push that back a little bit or kind of just couple that with something else. But we definitely have our Candyman review that is going to be dropping on Monday, August 30th, which you just finished listening here. And then we have our Shang-Chi review, which will be dropping on Labor Day, which is September 6th. And then we'll have our nice little projects. We might sprinkle that in there somewhere. So we just got to kind of figure it out. So you said Dear Evan Hansen's the 24th?
Yeah.
Okay. So idea, we drop our Coda review on the 13th. Because I do get back on Sunday the 12th, and I have that Monday off. So if you watch Coda by then, we should review it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do Malignant. I'm a little hoarded out until Halloween Kills. I mean, Malignant seems interesting, but I don't know. I think I'm good on the horror for now, at least. It feels like a lot of these should be coming out in October. I feel like the next one we should definitely get into. Is it Halloween Kills or is it Last Night in Soho that drops first? I think it's Halloween Kills. I think because that's earlier in October, I believe.
Last Night in Soho is October 29th.
29th. Okay, so that's like the weekend after Dune comes out.
And Halloween Kills is October 15th. So it's
October 15th. Okay. Yeah.
Same weekend as Venom currently.
Oh, my life. Well, for Halloween. Oh, that's right. Halloween Kills and Venom. That's right. They are coming out the same. Well, I don't know who's going to win that weekend, to be completely honest. I feel like it's going to be Venom, but then again, like there's a lot of Michael Myers fans out there, like 100%. But yeah, we'll let you guys know. Sorry about that side conversation. We'll definitely let you guys know what's coming up on the channel after Monday, on Monday, Labor Day, September the 6th. Definitely had to figure out a few things, but definitely follow us on Twitter on at Film Optix. Again, that is Optix with an X. Ooh, Devin just sent me a message. All right, so it is time to wrap up here. Again, thank you again, Devin, for coming on. I'm rambling on at this point. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening, and we will see you guys later. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys next time.